This is wonderful. Let's not buy the right gaskets. Let's just use like caulking that they use in houses to caulk this together. Wonderful. Of course, the other side had the wrong bulb. Well, it doesn't have this car did not come with directional signals, but I don't know if you could see in there, but there's two connections. Of course, it's all frozen. It's not working anyway, but you can't put a single bulb where the dual bulb is. And, you know, since I'm putting directionals in, I got to utilize that, but I got to rebuild the thing here. As you can see, I actually got this side apart, also caulking. And this is the wiring. You can see some green in there. Single thing. And this guy, there we go. The springs are seized. And this black thing is not coming out, but hopefully I may not need to, but I still got to clean out the junk that's in there. But usually this thing comes out, so I'm not sure if it's because of corrosion or just the way it is or what. So hopefully it doesn't require another step here, you know. But it's a mess inside. They obviously didn't work. Now I just ordered this from a specialty Studebaker place, so it's going to be more time apart. But hopefully it won't be so bad. But you can tell, like, this is, if they wanted to add directional signals, this is what you would use. You just plug that in, and then, you know, unless a single bulb actually works somehow, because the other one is inactive, but you just take out the bulb and you put the dual filament bulb, and then you're set. So part of this is for me trying to pull on it. I don't even know how they got it in there, other than that I'm going to try to save that grommet that's in there, that rubber hole there. But you can't get past this guy past it. So everything came up through that way, you know, came down this way. So that's the way I'll end up feeding it. But it didn't want to go out. It didn't want to come through that, you know. It only wanted to go down because this rubber thing was preventing it, or whatever the hell this is now, plastic. But this thing has probably got hard as well. But usually the modern wires are not as fat, even though I'll be using 14 gauge wires like the original. I believe they're 14 gauge, but it solves any problem of worrying about how much power you put into it, you know. And then I got to get to the horn wire in here as well, which I think there's only one horn, right? Or is there two? Looks like only one horn, so I'll get that off. Well, I'm a little bummed here. This thing is way bigger than it shows on my lap here, but I mean the offset for this brake pedal seems awesome, you know, but this brake pedal is directly underneath it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even like put two and two together with that. So I'm not sure if this could work, you know, and also you can't take out the rod. So that's a concern, and it's really long too. So because it's so long, this thing has a lot of throw. It's meant for really big brakes. I mean, I gather the throw should be about the same as any other car, you know, especially depending where you stop it. But now that I'm looking at it, though, I'm like wondering if it should be on the other side. But if it's the other side, then you got the motor there. Straight on would have been messing with my mount, which, yeah, that could be moved. But, you know, like, what I thought would be a really good idea is not looking like it then. So, I don't know. So I have been doing tons and tons of wiring. This is the engine harness right here. And I'll get to that in a little bit. I already put on the lighting harness. And this is the dash harness. I'm going to make it all come out to 12-pin connector here. That'll go to other places, but I got my step-down transformer for the 2 gauges. I basically put 12 volts here, even though this is a 6-volt guy. It's kind of just going through. It's 20 amps. I'm going to put a fuse on the bottom. You know, it'll be connected to the new fuse box. Oh, by the way, I wasn't actually supposed to even do these. I was supposed to just, like, do a brief, you know, upgrade, and it's just, like, impossible to not do it all. Anyway, AI told me to put fuses on both of these ends because we're going to use the amp meter gauge still on different principles, so hopefully that works. I don't like the LED bulbs I put in for the backlighting. I can't even see them. It's almost like a purple backlighting, and I don't know why, and I try to turn off the lights here, but it's still too light in the day, so I bought some other bulbs. They're coming, and I still haven't put LED bulbs in the other places. Because I'd done the other wiring, I had other bulbs like this. So I got the sockets. I rewired all the sockets, and those sockets will have the directional signals in them now that it didn't have before. I'm going to put a piece of tape on this guy right here. But I joined all the bulbs together on one thing, and you know, I basically made everything go, you know, the way it needs to go. They're all kind of loose, you know, they're tight, but it's by hand tight, you know. But I want to test everything, you know, make sure this guy works, and I want to try to see if I can get the gauges to work. And I have this little dongle thing that I had from the last project that didn't quite work with that, and I don't know if it's because it's bad, but I'm going to try to see if I can make it work, because I'd be also putting it after this. I was thinking about putting it here, but I just thought there was too many variables involved. Having a full signal wire coming from the gas gauge, which is on this side actually, is helpful, you know. Only I know the colors. That's a mess. Because these things, they're pre-wired. It makes it a lot easier. Even though I have a great crimper and everything, just these little guys are very, very temperamental. And it's a lot of extra, you know, wiring. So I did like 14 gauge for this, and you see this is, I put a 12 gauge ignition wire, and I have a 8 gauge for the alternator. So basically you're going to be able to pull out the engine if you had to, of course, with all this hooked up. And I had to revise it as well because I forgot the oil pressure light, because that's what these two are. I'm going to actually put in, this side is the amp meter gauge, so this is going to be a volt light as well. And this guy is going to be an oil light. So I'll have a backup just in case anything goes wrong. So with this, I got the oil gauge. I had to run it differently, and I have a, you know, it's going kind of over the exhaust manifold, so I got this heat protection wire, but it's extra long. I have an oil pressure turn-on switch that's going to turn on the choke. So this is power that goes to a choke. And this power extends to the alternator over here. Because if you put one of those GM computerized alternators in, that's supposed to have really a, you know, what do you call it? It's supposed to have a serpentine on it. But, you know, even if you go up to that, you know, eventually, and even if you didn't do it with, you know, they have other ones that like 90 amps, but that doesn't change if it has this plug. But this is just a key-on plug. It's the same one that goes to the oil pressure, because I figured it'd be enough. It just needs to be an excite wire if you wanted to put one of those GM computer-controlled ones. This is for the AC. This is for the coil. And that's why I had one coil wire, and the thing was like 16 gauge. I was like, no. I had to go to Advanced Auto, and it's a heavy wire. It's a 12-gauge wire. It's very nice. And then I have the AC hook up there, and then I have another switch for the AC that's going to go to this computerized thing. These two green ones here, that's going to go to the fan, and that's going to be hooked up to the computerized relay setup. Now, I had emailed them, and I told them a bunch of questions, and like, wow, you really sound like you know what you're doing. We're going to send you a free updated beta one, whatever, you know. So I said, okay, I don't know if I'll get it before they get it, because the other one has a bulb style where you put it in the radiator to detect the heat, and I'd much rather have a sensor on the block. So he said he was going to send me one for free. I said, oh, okay. So we'll see what happens with that. And I got to put this guy back in, but I may I was thinking about swapping them around if I had to, but it ended up being I just rerouted the ones to make them nicer, and this will pretty much work, and I'll put as much wire loom as I can. I already had this other stuff that was nice, and I don't know where I put it, but it's not a big deal. I could put the same type of wire loom. It was like the sheeting style one, kind of like this, but like fiberglass of some sort. This is supposed to be two different sizes, but I'm not sure how much really difference it makes, because one I put over the battery cable at the front, and then this one I put on the harness here, and one was advertised as an inch on the inside, and one was advertised as 3/4, and they both look the same to me. Yeah, so I cut from both of them. Anyway, I'll grease this guy up, and eventually I got to put that in. I got this dongle grounded, and I have one of the wires here is actually grounded using that screw there. So there'll be a dedicated ground inside of here just in case anything disconnects from the bolting of the dashboard for whatever reason. If in the future she has the the stuff removed and the dash is painted or whatever, and they get paint all over it, who knows. Anything can happen, but it's nice and compact now, and it should plug in with one plug pretty much, and it looks like still everything is accessible. I did use zippy screws in there, so hopefully a lot of the drilled pieces came out, but I assume if they fell, it wouldn't be a huge deal. And it is what it is, but I'd like to test this soon, and I'll see if I can film that. Not going to be easy, but I'll just probably give you a brief Reader's Digest version. So another thing is I'm going to do a bunch of stuff with relays. This is only 16 gauge wire, if that. I believe it is 16 gauge. It would have probably, with the modern headlights, it would probably power it on its own. But I'm actually, I don't like the fact that 50s cars in general, when you put the running lights on, it turns on the runners, and then when you put on headlights, the runners turn off. So what I decided to do to make sure that everything works, I'm using these to turn on two relays. So the relays are all going to be under the hood, not all the relays, but a lot of the important relays. I'm going to put an AC relay, I'm going to put a high beam and a park relay. I'm going to put a and that way, this is a 70-year-old switch that still works amazingly, but I'm going to put relays to protect it, to make it last longer, so it doesn't need much drain. This is really, like, I could have used the tiniest wire, but just in case there's anything, you could technically jump the relay using this power, because it's 16 gauge, but it should work. But I have 14 gauge on all the lighting as it is, so this will be just turn-ons. And then I got this diode in here, because what the diode does, and I guess I can do something here. My little test battery here. Doesn't take long for me to make a mess, I tell you, especially when it comes to wiring and stuff. So you put the power there, and you put your ground, and you put your ground on the case. And basically, this switch over here, when you go one way, it grounds this. It accepts the ground from the body to turn this on, and then the other way turns on this and these. Oh no, this is direct. This goes on with the headlights. So this goes to the dash lights, which does not dim, but they will dim when I'm done. And then these go to different lighting in the car that were never hooked up, except for maybe one. I'm going to try to change that. So what am I doing? I am getting a test light, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Because without this, I got power, and that's ground. So this is the park lights, and this is the headlights. So when you put your headlights, your running lights on, just this one lights up. Hang on a second. What did I do here? Was I already on it? Oh yeah. Whoopsie. I spoiled it. I thought I tested it, and I think it was in between. I kind of did a double. Anyway, parking lights, and then this has no power because it's not on headlights. And when you put it on headlights, okay, that's on. The original one has headlights, but in the original setup, this one did not have power, and now it does. And all this is doing is turning on a relay, so it's even less power going through it. So being that it's turning on a relay, it's safe, and it'll have two individual, power leads also controlling the park and the thing. Whereas somebody would just jump this, well, the thing is you can't really just jump it. You have to put a diode in because you don't want the power to feed back. Because then if you put the running lights on, then the headlights would turn on. That was what I was trying to avoid. I wanted them both to turn on with that, but I thought it was even safer to put this this diode in there because there's really no load then, So, and being that I'm powering it with two separately relays, it's even less than that. So that worked out well. All right, trying to figure out what kind of bulb I have here because it's a straight pin, but it's two filament. The original one had one bulb because it did not come with the option for directional signals, but it did have the wire there. So it had two wires going in. This is the original thing, and I just re-gutted it. And this one, I'm going to end up just putting this quick little handy-dandy thing there on both sides. And as you can tell, I redid the wiring here, and there was just a stray wire here, a bullet connector that went to the directionals. And then I got this guy going in here, because that will be, the purple one will be for the horn, and the other two are going to be for an additional fan if needed. And I got the ground hooked up. I got to get some bolts for that, some, what do you call it, machine bolts. But I got these handy-dandy things because the original one only had 3, and it worked. It was fine, but it was made out of metal completely. Like, there was a chance for error, especially if you try to put more power through it. But that's really not happening here, but I thought this was nice and cool, and it's nice and secure for the wires. So I have it effectively jump in here. I got a gray wire for this side, for the directional, and I got a brown wire for that side, with the other 3 wires the same. And I have this wiring harness running here, and it all runs into there. This is going to be one off, like you've never seen. And then I got the fans are grounded right here, okay? Question is whether I have to swap the wires and the fan over there. And I got these new things because it's funny how, if you look carefully, you can see how the horizontal one, it's on the bottom. Horizontal one's on the top. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? It don't fit. So these are the fan wires that are going to go right here. I'm going to have some kind of attachment. Goes on a radiator screw there probably, something along those lines. Be really, really neat, I must say. And I ended up buying a new grommet for this. I didn't realize what I was buying, but it's fine, that one. I thought I was buying a different one, I thought I was buying this one or that one. But I did buy the grommets for the gaskets for this. So that'll be figured out. Like I said, I have to figure out, it's very conflicting information. As you can see, my wiper motor, I'm going to put that like a wiper relay. I'm going to put a lot of relays because I bought these relay boxes. I'm going to have an additional, I think this is a 4. I'm going to have a 6 under a hood. I'm going to convert one of these into a directional signal flasher, an electronic one that does both the hazards and not. I got the hazard switch somewhere. And I'd like to find the wiper switch so I can start figuring that out. This is the module for the electric steering. Still haven't done anything with the steering wheel yet. But it's all in all, everything's looking good. I just also want to update the brakes, master cylinder in particular, really. I don't want to, just make it power. And, but dual master, and I'm not sure if all this shit's going to fit without taking out the cross member and redoing it all. Like I said, I modified the gas pedal here. I don't know if I can't remember if I filmed it or not, but this was on the other side, so it was close to there. Now it's over here, so now it's actually like I went through all the trouble to make it closer over here, and then that way when I put this Mustang one, which looks like it's going to work just fine, I'm gonna, hook it up, and all it has to do is drag on there, and I'll figure out something. I'm not really worried. And I'm just thinking about, I bought these really neat, because I said I was going to put an oil light and a volt light. Look at that. And look at this. Isn't that the most awesome thing you've ever seen? They're from airplanes. Had no idea. So, it's a used one from airplanes, but it looks absolutely mint, and it looks absolutely very close to this, style. So I was thinking about drilling a hole here, and that way the amp will be next to the gauge there. And particularly if that gauge don't end up working, it's another thing. And then the oil light will be right there, and the oil will also be an additional safety for the oil light, because girls don't always watch the gauges. This is a girl's car, believe it or not. Yes. So pretty cool stuff going on here, I think, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to leave the wiper switch up here. I think it's a little silly, but I guess that's what they did because it was close by. But as opposed to making more holes, I took out the choke over here, and this was already plugged up, so I wanted to maybe put it here instead. But then but I could put maybe the same plug will fit over there. I don't know. We'll see. And I think I tightened that guy up already. Yeah. So some cool stuff is happening. I was thinking about, I had this brake thing. This is actually from a Humvee. It's brand new. So I was thinking about when I do the brakes, I do the brake thing, and maybe I'll put it in here. I mean, you don't even have to see it, but if I drilled it out the big way, it would be nice too. That way you see it all. But I don't really have it escutcheon, but you can make something. I can make something maybe. I don't even know if it's going to technically fit, because it looks like it's going to overhang a bit. So maybe, I don't know. I'll see. The other thing is like putting it here and then putting the other stuff there, like the wiper switch down here. I don't know how user-friendly that will be, but all in all, I got a lot of cool stuff going on in this car. It's just taking a long time, like everything else. I don't have a picture of it, but it's a little box I bought on Amazon called a Nelco box, and it prints out these little things using the Bluetooth from your phone. And the battery was dead, so I went in my car, and it started raining, and then it kind of stopped. But it's going to rain eventually pretty hard, I think. But I labeled everything. Pretty cool. And I put it on this side only because, I don't know if it's worth it putting it on that side. I mean, you could figure that out when you're on there, but it's good to see it from below, although I kind of put them upside down technically. Yeah, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. People can read upside down. Now I'm going to tighten everything up, and I should be okay, other than I have to change some of these bulbs because they definitely are not right. I just may go with incandescent ones, but I have to get the right bulb, the 12-volt version of these. But I ordered a set of LEDs again, particularly the LED for the thing, because the gauges, they usually take these small guys, which I have 12 volts of these, and the LEDs, I want to give it another try. I found a shorter one because this guy here, I mean, I don't even see the fucking thing light up, but it's significantly shorter, I mean, the case is long. Just trying to line up these pins. Hang on. So, my God. Give me a break. That's roughly where the pin would be. You can see it's like double the height. Now, basically, this thing just basically sticks out of the socket, but this thing is way out of the socket, So it really needs a shorter one. It's not going to work because it's like purple inside there. I don't understand that. Some kind of purple light that it makes, when I pull it out a little bit, but it's brighter with an incandescent bulb. So I don't know. But if I put the short ones with those little, they look like solar panels on the thing, I'm going to put those in. And I might just use incandescents for the directionals because sometimes it works. Even though the flasher I got should work fine. It's supposed to work with LEDs or that, and I'm supposed to combine the two with the directionals, with the hazards, I should say. I don't trust it 100%, the LEDs, because all you need is a crappy connection. I like to have a little draw on it,
Maybe not the high beam one, but you know, to make it nice and bright so you know it's on. But everything pretty much worked. For instance, so this is a negative. You see, I put negative, and then I got positive over here. It was one of these two red ones here, which is this guy right here. Although I wouldn't do that. Hang on a second. I would put. I basically got all. What do you call it? Yeah, left signal. Just to show you what it looks. The signal is so bright, and the funny thing is, this card never had directionals, but they're there, and they had like little stickers blocking it. So this is the left. It's so bright, it looks blue instead of green. So and also because it's so deep, it's right on top of it. So that's the other thing. So I think this was a new 12 volt. I'm curious how it looks. So yeah, 1 second. Swap it out real quick. So it's number one, it's not so deep and right up against the lens, you know, distorting. It's almost white in the middle, you know. So let's see now, where are we? Left signal. It's a little better. It's funny how it's like the same thing, but it's a little more green. But it's basically there's no green in the middle. I'm wondering if I should buy green bulbs for this now, because it's not. That's interesting. Time to get on Amazon to see if they can get it here with my order. All right, I gotta put this away. Just for inference, the red, even with the LED, it's fine. It actually looks less bright on that thing. I guess I'm seeing a reflection. Okay, but in here I was seeing a reflection, but it looks fine. But incandescent is fine with that, probably. Ultimately, this is just going to have, spade connectors that go onto the back of that, but the whole bulb slides out, so you really won't be unplugging them. Chances are you're just going to slide the whole bulb out with it if you had to remove it. And I was setting it up that way because that's the way those are. They do unscrew to mount it, but then that gets kind of messy, twisting the wire and everything. So and then you're going to unplug the wire, but I don't know yet if one is negative or positive particularly. So I don't think it matters terribly much, but there's got to be one that goes to the base of the thing. It's just if it's connected to the, if it's screwed into the thing, you can short it out, I gather. So I'll figure that out too. So, but that's about it. And the only thing I don't know is if I know the 6 volt works. I test that. I guess I can ground the gauges and see how they work. Particularly, I know the heat worked. This one worked, and I have a used gauge from the Studebaker motor, but that one, the gas gauge. Oh yeah, I wanted to test it. I wanted to take out the sending unit out of the because that one has a fuel cell, and I got to try to do that. Well, I was just looking at the wire, but I'm like, oh my god, this thing here, it looks like it's epoxy to the fucking thing. Hopefully it's just a seal and the screws hold it up. But it's like, how the fuck do you get it out? I gotta unbolt all these to get it? That would suck. That would really suck. So now, I'm wondering how much a new one will cost, because I'd rather go up and down. I'm sure it's a 90. I could probably do the same thing with a 90 ohm one. Almost all of them are 90 ohm. So I probably have an old GM one that's 90 ohm that I can probably use. An old new one somewhere. I remember I was contemplating with the other guy's gas tank to do the same thing, but I don't like it. We don't like that. So I hate to fuck with that, and then fuck it up. Oh well. Brand new guy sitting in my possession for like 10 years. Because I had the car in question for that long. Well, it would be 10 years now. Actually, no. I bought it in 2013, and then I sold it during COVID. Unfortunately, it was a nice car. 77 Oldsmobile 98. Where did I just read this? Made in Canada. Some integrity. That's amazing. And what brand is this? Fine line. 7785 Bonneville Fleetwood. FG10B SU171. Anybody want to buy it? Now this will also fit my 82 Buick LeSabre, but it has a diesel, so there's a unique thing, and it doesn't have the what do you call it thing in there. So I got to take this out so I can move it around, but I'll get it hooked up and see if I can make it work. So I'm playing with this, I'm asking AI things, and I had all great ideas. So far so good. If you ever try to adjust one of these dongle things, basically if you miss your spot, because now I'm doing halfway, the potentiometer is sloppy in the center, so you got to overshoot it, and what happens is you're like, oh, it's not moving. It doesn't just move fast. It takes a long time to catch up, and even at that, you still, like, if you just missed it by a hair and you have to go back, you have to go back like at least a quarter turn and then turn it again. And I think I got half set now where I want it. It's a little bit above, which is fine, because then it makes for finer, you know, it's a little closer to E when you're finally empty then. So this is the statistical halfway, because I tested to make sure it was at 45 ohms. So I'm not 100% sure if it's better to read higher or not. I'm wondering, you know, because GM ones, they used to, half a tank was statistically 3/4 on the gauge, you know, so that was always a joke. But it's just slightly over. So if GM would do it, you know, 3/4, because it was always, you know, it was more accurate than when it was over near the end. Like, not accurate in that sense. It was not accurate, but you knew that when you were at like an eighth of a tank, like, oh shit, I'm almost out of gas. So this will be having a little more gas in it. It won't be like deady, but it'll be a lot closer to what it's supposed to be. But I suppose I can make it like right on the money, but I'm afraid that at E, it'll definitely run out. I almost want to go over, you know, because then you have a little more. So if the thing is, though, if I turn this, I want to do it off camera because it's a lot to take, but I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what the hell I was now. I forgot which way is which because I made this stupid video. So if I tighten it, what happens? I don't think it's going to move unless it's going in that same direction. Yeah, tightening it was lowering it. So now I just fucked up. So either way, I would have had you pretty much have to do like at least that much of a turn and then a little bit. So let's see where that goes. It's going to take, actually going pretty quick, all things considered. Unless I totally fucked up. I'm not going the right way. I forgot which way I was going. I was kind of thinking that counterclockwise was up, not down, because of the way it's set up. But it's like very rapid once you get it. You know? It's like it doesn't move, it doesn't move, it doesn't move. And then when it finally does move, it's like the tiniest thing. Like I was so close there, but I'm debating whether I should be closer to a higher amount on the gauge, especially with an old car, and especially the fact that it's a fuel cell. But there's all that foam in the bottom, so usually it can figure that out. You know, like usually there's extra gas in there somehow that the gas gauge isn't even recognizing. So I could probably go a lot closer to what the real gauge reading is. It's like a little tiny thing, and then all of a sudden it'll take off. Yep. Did I get it this time? Or am I basically in the same place? Ugh. I'm basically in the same. It's going up higher. He said it's very sloppy, and you got to give it time. And I think that's why the last guy, it didn't work out so well. And I had supposedly a better one. So now I got to overpass it. Unless I should just leave it like that, because I think it'll give more for the you know what I'm saying? Like, it won't be on boom E and that's over, you know. Although I think it kind of still will. These things are funny, you know. I don't know. I should just do it right. Do it the way it was intended, the way people expect it to be. Let's see how that does. This is getting longer. Let me end this one, and then I'll be able to pay attention better and do the full mark and everything, and then I'll show how it works when all is said and done. Well, unfortunately, I did this 12 times, and it's not working. Even though everything tests out perfect, and then I even changed it to use the 6 volts even, just to make sure. So this is a piece of shit. I'm going to say that. Unless the gauge is no good somehow, but I don't understand why. Without the dongle, it actually swings just fine. It's just opposite. All right, let's see if I'm crazy or not. Yeah, that's all the way an E, which makes it go all the way to full. And then I move this all the way to full, and it makes this go down to E, because it ends up being, this is 90 ohms as well. And getting all that reflection. And I have more reflection. I don't know. Yeah, seeing all this stuff. That's funny. Interesting. Well, yeah, I said it was 90, but it may not be. Maybe it's moving. It's like getting there. But is this hook up to 6 volts? I guess it is, technically. Or do I have it? Oh, no, I have it on 12 volts. Oh, Jesus. That was dumb. No, the gauge is still hooked up to 12 volts, to 6 volts. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing here. Yeah, so technically the gauge is still hooked up to 12 volts. So right now this is on full. And of course, when you get rid of the power, it goes to E. I guess it was just going to catch up now that the power is off. So now I'm going to put it all the way on empty there, which should be full here. Should go up, yeah. So now, go back to E. It's like it goes faster, of course, without any power. But, you know, technically if you're driving, it may have some kind of resistor that makes it go nice and slow. Yeah. Yeah, see? It's working. Working. Now when I kick it up. Yeah. So I don't see why it's not working. Technically, I have another one of these, I think, but I don't have the other car last time. I just thought maybe the way I was doing it, but apparently not. Okay, no thanks to AI. It said, "Oh, you have to hit E, and after you're done, or power it up with holding E." You know, yeah. After you do all 3 programming steps, you have to press E and F together, and then you turn it off and recycle it. So I'm just checking it, because sometimes you got to do it twice because of how it's reading. Because full was a little funny for me. This potentiometer is really cheap and stupid, and I have this all the way up, but it's just about there. I'm pretty confident with one more. It also takes a long time. Oh yeah, it's going to full. I want it to be, yeah, no, it's going to be right on full. Yeah, that's right. Because now with the other one goes to 98 ohms. So it should read past full when that one is full.
So this is a good template to do this on, so you don't have to get into that gas tank and whatnot, unless you don't have something like that. And it's also depends on the type of sending unit you have. I just happen to have one that was the same ohm. Sorry, I get the hiccups. And everything's okay. Just that last night, this meter was working, and now it's not. I can't get any ohms readings out of it. I was just verifying a few things, and unless I hit hold, did I accidentally hit hold? I don't think so. I think I just turned on. All right, yeah, that was on. There's no select here, and I had left it on overnight though, so I don't know if there's some issue with it. Because it did shut off on its own because it beeps, and it was off, and then I had to turn it off and turn it back on again. But I find it weird that I can't get it to work. It might be because everything is hooked up in here, but it's success as far as I'm concerned. It's on full, and when I go to E, it goes to E. It's just that last little bit, it needs to be down. So what I was doing is I was using I use this guy to hold it all the way to E, and you see it's starting to drop. This is success. This is going to work 1,000%. So I'm glad I actually got it to work. Don't quite know what was wrong with the other guy's car, despite having a dedicated ground and whatnot. So we'll see. That one is still 2 wires, and I have to ground the 1 wire and whatnot. So, which I don't see it being a big deal. So pretty happy about this, because this is all this work for not having a good gas gauge would really stink, So it does take a long time, but if you're driving, you're using gas slowly, so if it reacts slow, it's kind of normal, It is also, it's translating that data into new data, so it is what it is. I'm still I wanted it to go below E, because that's how I set it. I set it like 1 length of the needle below E, and I think it's going there. I think it is kind of there. Yep, you can see the needle is just below that E there. This is not one, because the old GM cars used to the halfway point was really 3/4, and E, like you could sometimes in some cars you can put $5 and it'll go up to E. So that's pretty hilarious. But I think this is a fair way of setting it, and it's going to work now. And now when I power, it's saved the setting now. So now when I put it in the car, everything will work with that, except when it gets filled, it'll pin the full, which is what I want. Had to film this. Brilliant idea. That switch had a sticky lock cylinder, which is over here. And the hole in here is huge. It's like 1 inch. And they don't make them 1 inch. They make all these adapters and everything. Now, the one I originally intended to put here, that's 13/16 that shaft. And if you go into here, it's big, but not that big. But the thing is like, where are you really going to prevent it from spinning around? It may come with a thing that holds in there. But this holds like the original. So other than these marks that they put on here, so if this holds like the original, it's got this little notch right there, which locks into place on the dashboard. Hasn't moved in 70 years, so I don't think it will move if I do this. Now, granted, this one might move because of whatever, but I can't really put that one. I'm going to probably have to buy another one, but because the hole here looks like it's 3/4 of an inch, because this guy does not fit in the hole. So, and it could be less. I got to try with a drill bit to see what size it is. But ultimately, if you're trying to find something that fits, you can find something and just use the original one. If you're not going to use it anymore, it'll hold in place like it should. And then you drill out the center and you figure something out from there. This notch could help me out inside here. This notch could help me at some point if I wanted to put something or other, interesting. So I'm hoping to do something with this and to make it work. Well, I don't know what the hell is going on here, but I can't get this fucking thing to light up. There's
there's a purple light in there, pretty much, because I bought these new ones. These were great. The directionals on the thing there. Of course, I got my light on my phone. I turned the light off in the garage and lowered the garage. I'm like, I'm like, I really can't see it. And I'm looking, I'm like, I still can't see it. And I don't know what the problem is, you know, to be honest. Like, can it really be a different bulb, you know? So I think it's, see, now I got that bulb in there. And I'm trying different bulbs now. You know, this is like a sin. I'm like, what the hell is going on here that I'm not aware of? So, as you can see, I touch it, light goes on. I put it in there, and I see like a purple glow back there, but it's not illuminating anything. I'm not quite sure what the hell happened. This is crazy. Just to show you, the signals work good. I put the green one in there since the green was really faded. It looks really bright on camera, but it looks really nice in person here, you know. And even the red, which I really didn't even need that type of LED, but you know, I bought a red LED just in case it does like burn up over time or something like that. So this is the high beam. It's really nice. But the rest of it, I don't know why it's not lighting it up. No clue. So this is the thing, and the lights are on. Where am I here? That's all I see. And I'm just mind boggled right here. I don't see the bottom ones at all. And I don't know what it is. Why would this do this? It's beyond me. More research. I just ordered purple bulbs to reflect the ultraviolet light, but inside there is a dark purple ultraviolet thing, and what's supposed to happen is that the bulb is supposed to illuminate mostly the needles and stuff, and this is in good shape. They said if your paint is messed up, it won't really transfer. So some people take out the filter, but what's happening is when you're dealing with UV, you're only allowing that to go through. Now the old 6-volt bulbs, they have mostly yellow bulbs, so the yellow actually helps. I don't have yellow, but somebody on the internet says, oh, you got to put green so you can see them. So I put the green, you know, and it's on. I don't know if I can put different levels of in and out, but I got the lights off in here, and it ain't doing shit. Not even close. At least with the super bright white, I can see a little tiny bit of the purple, but that's because, you know, like I said, it's a filter and it doesn't allow it to see any other color but that color. So that's so bizarre that they did that in this year. So I'll wait for tomorrow and I'll get another one. I don't know, it's Easter tomorrow, so hopefully they still deliver because I'm gonna still be doing this. So found some 57 bulbs, and now when I go in there, wow, it looks red on camera, but it's purple out here. I actually see something. Let me close the lights on my mess, and hopefully I don't trip on anything. I can't see. It looks like there's more light than there is, but ultimately, let's see. Yeah, I would have to say it's still, even though I saw a little hint of the lights coming on the side there. Did something fall off? Oh, it's off there. It's amazing how fucking nothing you really see here. But I think it's slightly better. That's so mind-blowing. It actually does look like something lit up. It's supposed to be like a ghost lit. But unfortunately, you just, yeah, like on camera, you actually see the 80 and the 60, but not the other one. That's interesting. It's like barely lit. Because, yeah, look at that. Because with the saying, how it goes is, they say that The 12-volt bulbs are actually not on the correct spectrum because they were designed to be brighter as opposed to the old ones where they were just, incandescent, and they were more yellowish. So I was wondering if yellow would work, but supposedly purple is going to let it all through. I just don't understand that, because the purple is the same color as the filter. I don't understand how that fucking shit works. That's fucking crazy. But there is a hint. And it's like, I got daylight coming in here. Hang on a second. Let me close the garage. I will regret this because I will probably trip on something. It would have been better. Oh, it's dark in here. I don't know if I can turn on the light. I'm going to turn it back off. Oh, Jesus. This was a really bad idea. In any case, I got a little tiny bit of light by that window there. I don't want to step on all these bulbs, but I can almost see it better already. God damn. This does it zero justice, but believe it or not, there's a hint. And I mean a hint. It actually works better. Like it's they say it's like a ghost thing. Let me try to refilm this because maybe going from in and out. Unfortunately, I'm looking at my phone now. I'm like, I see that. I don't see that. I can't see the dashboard. It's funny your camera does not pick it up, but it actually is working. There, I could see everything, but it's very, very, it's almost blurry. So I don't know if there's some issue with that, but it is technically working. I think in a car, and I'm pointing down. Oh yeah, when I'm looking straight on. Oh, that's just so like I have to go all the way close here to even remotely see it. But it actually does work with the incandescent lights. I'm going to say that works, but it's still not that great. I'm going to see how the purple one looks, but otherwise I'm just going to go with this. That's so mind-blowing. How the white, if you get a bright white bulb, it won't do nothing. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, I can't believe I don't see crap out of this. Now I'm zooming in. Yeah, if I zoom in, catch one gauge there. I don't even know which one that is. Oh yeah, there you go. It's like the light of the camera, even though it's facing me, it kind of affects the way it's seeing. But I can see the whole speedometer and everything. It's faint, but it's something, So that's very interesting how a 6-volt bulb will work better. Crazy. I wonder what happens if I put a dimmer on it. Now it's like, do I really want to dim it? Because the whole point of the LED was to make it really bright, but it's not really bright to begin with. So it's like, what's the point? So maybe that's why there was no dimmer on these cars. Oh well. Can you believe when we were cleaning up that day? See the teeth marks? He fucking stole it when we cleaned up. But unless you absolutely put it over here, because I know we put everything in a pile, then he just went in and fucking took it. But he carried it on the other side of the fucking house, like 50 feet from here. Fucking crazy guy. Okay, that is a purple light. So I am quite shocked I'm doing this even, but does this change anything? Again, you can't really see anything from this vantage point. So I guess I have to turn the lighting off. And I'm not even sure if you guys will see it. I don't see anything coming off the side there. I was seeing like purple light go through with the white light. So let me just make another video. As you can see, a little light over there, but does almost nothing. The regular bulbs do better jobs. I don't understand this. And AI has not been helping me really. And you can't find UV bulbs in this shape without like going to a different country. I guess I see a little dot of some sort here. I have it on an angle, but it's just, this has been a horrible experience. Well, trying to zoom in on here. Unfortunately, the fucking camera just can't pick it up. I zoomed again. I can see the dash. I don't think it's any better than what I had with the 12-volt bulbs. I used 6-volt bulbs and used the inverter on the back to jump it just to see if 6-volt bulbs would do the better thing. And it kind of looks okay, but it's spotty. It's like brighter in some places than others. And it could be just the way I'm leaning back now trying to get a look here. I mean, you could see something on the camera where I don't even know with the 12-volt one if you could see anything. So I'm going to go back to the 12-volt and see how that looks. I don't know. It's truthfully about the same with the 12-volt and the 6-volt. Maybe the 6-volt is just a little bit better. But it still wasn't looking that great. And I don't know if, technically the charging system is like 7.5 volts, so that little bit over. This is I was running it off a 6-volt inverter, so it stays pretty much at 6 volts no matter what. So I don't know anymore, but I think I'm going to order yellow ones and see what happens. At this point, what's the difference between $70 and $80 worth of bulbs? Just on a hunch, I set up my voltmeter here and I hooked up this new dimmer I bought. That I was originally going to dim the lights with, but I don't think it's worth it. However, what I did now, I turned it down here is 7.6 volts, which is roughly what the high side of a charging system would be on a 1951 with 6 volts. So I don't see shit because I got 12-volt bulbs. I'm going to try the 6-volt bulbs to see what happens. Wow, mind blown. I'm going to show you in a second. Look at that. And it's not really green. I'm seeing more purple, but yeah, it looks green. Actually, it does look green. I can see the purple from the side, but I got to lean all the way back. But on the camera here, it picks it up perfect. Everything is pretty much lit up. It's a little light by the 50-mile-an-hour mark, but that's the way it's supposed to be. That's so mind-blowing how they had this idea back then. You can see where I see the purple, that's where it's brightest. Like purple. You can actually see the purple now on camera. You can see everything. So this is the 6-volt bulb that I use the dimmer here. Let me make another video now. So I can actually see it. I can see the purple in person here. In person, whatever. But anyway, I had this. And so when I put my voltmeter on it, it says, God darn it. It was 760. Now it's 740, 717 because it probably had a load on it. But I'm kind of curious if it gets. Can I turn the light off? That's what sucks about this phone. I can't really turn the light off while I'm filming and come back. But let me just try something. I don't want to blow these bulbs, of course, but I'm curious, can I push it to 8, or something like that? Because maybe I'll get a resistor. That way I don't have to do this, but it's got to be known that it's got to be 6-volt bulbs in there. That's mind-blowing. Totally mind-blowing. Okay, so I know this Huya would, so when I go down here, this is pretty much where it was. When I go all the way down, you can still kind of see it. Doesn't really come up on camera until I hit about the 7-volt mark. But if I go harder, definitely gets brighter. I'm really wondering if the freaking yellow LEDs will really work. I'm willing to take a chance. I think I might do that just to see. All right, another couple of rolls of tape.
leave everything here. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I leave a lot extra? And then I started matching it up, and I go, oh, fuck, I went really outside of what I had to do. So I may have to unravel some of this. No, excuse me, no big deal. But that's that. I got a lot rolled up here. I got a lot going on. I started looking at the shifter, and I'm going to have some solutions for that. I got some things coming, some bushings and whatnot, a cable. I went through all the trouble to get a Camaro cable because I know it should be, better, but the Camaro had the shifter. Okay, so if the transmission, the shifter is not on top of the transmission, the shifter was all the way behind in retrospect to how the car was made. So the cable is relatively short, like 2 feet, and it just kind of goes like that, So if the train is over here, it just dips up and goes like that and goes right into the front. Even like a Monte Carlo or something like that, it has about 5 or 6 inches longer. And I was debating whether to order a 3-foot shifter cable or a 5-foot, and I opted on the 5-foot because it's right on top. Like where I got to put this is literally right on top of it. And it sounds like it would be the shortest, but it's really not. It actually is the longest because I got to S it and then S it to come back. Whereas the other cars might, like the Monte Carlo, it kind of goes like this and then like that. Even though this seems like it would be tight, I think it kind of bends like this. And if they're a thinner cable, it bends easier. This is one of those thick cables knockoff of B&M or something like that. And there was some 1/4-inch cables that they sold, and I didn't care for it. I just said, let me get the fatter one. So hopefully, yeah, this one fits, and I don't have to return it and order another one. Oh, but everything, thank God for Amazon having overnight everything. I ended up ordering a voltage reducer for the lights that are in there, but I also ordered the yellow LEDs. I want to see how the yellow LEDs go because I want it to be reliable. I don't want to overtax the 6-volt bulbs, even though they should be able to take a certain amount, So, waiting on Easter Sunday, and I got, a lot of odds and ends done. I had to look at a bunch of stuff, and I got a whole bunch of stuff that I can do, and it should get a lot should get done this week, and just set up, I really feel confident in that. And I'm working on the wiper switch. I got a Ford Bronco wiper switch with delay module somewhere in the car, I think, and it's not really a place to put it, so I'd have to start drilling holes. I will see. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do with that yet. And that's it. I'm closed for the day. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I said, what the hell, might as well get the yellow LEDs, you can see. I got the yellow LED. It was bright. And then when you look at it, nothing. Not a drop of light goes through. Insane how it only works with a regular bulb. So I got to use a 6-volt bulb and then push it to like 8 volts. So I have the transformer I'm going to do with that. I took it out of the package and I laid it all out and I took out all these parts and I'm like, what is this for, a fan? I'm like, this is not what I bought. It was assembled already. I can't deal with this shit. I'm not dealing with this. I took it all apart. I'm like, maybe I'll put it together. And then there's a heat sink you got to put on yourself. And I know it's just a stick-on thing, but like, this looks like it's supposed to have a fan on it. I'm like, I didn't know I was buying something like this. I didn't know I was buying it apart. It's not good. It showed it fully assembled in the photo.